Oh, my homies. Today feels like an absolute failure. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you. It is not the day that I thought I'd be ending the week on. I've been telling you guys how pumped I've been, how excited I've been. We're getting back on the normal progressive overload type program. And today, everything caught up to me. Which, to be fair, I did not fail, quote unquote, today. Today was not a failure. It was a good attempt. It was a good learning experience, because you got to have days where you can sit there and be like, it's okay that we ended on a failed rep today, It's okay that it didn't go the way that we wanted today. Because, man, nothing went. Because I'm not even upset about the clean and jerk stuff. I was just going to do a clean into a push jerk just to, isolate a little bit more shoulder. And it felt fine. And then I did 2 plates and my low back started kicking. And if you've seen what I've been doing this week, it's a given, And honestly, it's a big eye-opener that... Not that I need to stop doing these recovery weeks where I try the really difficult technique style lifts for whatever comfortable top heavy singles. I just need to stop pushing to the brink, And obviously that seems like a given, but I had the ideology of maybe if I made the technique so difficult that even if I went to my absolute limit, it'd be fine. And to an extent, that has been true. I'm not going to sit here and say that the progress hasn't been good at all. It's been great. The technique's never been better. But my recovery has not actually been much of a recovery. It's been more of a hone the technique, destroy the core, hopefully we're better, And it's been working really well in the sense of with all the injuries that I've had in the past year, it's been good to stop the progressive overload for a while and get back on a let's not worry about the weights type thing for a while and not worry about growing at a certain rate. But it's catching up to me for sure. The moment I felt my low back, nothing tweaked, nothing's injured at all. I'm better than that now. I've told you guys this style of training where you feel it out all the time, doing really hard technique stuff. It'll teach you to really chill out the moment you feel that little twitch where you don't want to feel it, and it just wasn't worth it, and. You can sit there and say I didn't commit hard enough, and I'd probably agree with you, but it's the fact of if you feel that there is even an essence of a potential of risk injury, it's not worth doing. It never is, man. It never is. It's better to just take it as an optimal active rest kind of day, which is what this week really should be, especially in the upcoming future. And because I feel this tired, it's going to be good to have a day of just strictly lighter stuff that doesn't hurt me, so that I can take today's an active rest day for the most part. I still went kind of heavy on bench, but not too bad. And then tomorrow will be a full rest day, so I can come back at 100% and really try my hardest. Now, where things got really weird and what really kind of messed with the mindset for today, because I was already all right, let's put the clean and jerks away. Need that to rest anyway. Not a big deal. It's when I got to the bench that I started rethinking a lot of things, And the thumbs length bench has been helpful. Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that it wasn't good doing it. But quite frankly, the horizontal depth that I'm hitting is consistently making my rear delt in the rotator cuff feel like it's wanting to tweak again, like it had been the past month from now. And I am not going to sit here and keep doing technique that I know is going to hurt my shoulder, And it's kind of weird. The moment I did a bench grip that was a little bit wider, that's supposed to be more chest dominant, I started accruing more shoulder pain and more risk of shoulder injury. And I think the biggest thing about it is because I'm so used to being shoulder dominant for the most part in everything because I'm an Olympic lifter. And so the moment I did a wider bench, it may have gotten a more stable hold, but the drive out of the bottom position has never been as good. And when it gets heavy and I really start winging my elbows out, it gets to me. And so I got to 2 plates on thumbs length bench and I was just not feeling it, It's not something that I feel like I can explode with, that I can actually have confidence in. And so I thought, today's already an active recovery day. And I know a lot of you might sit there and think, like, why are you going to change things right when you're about to go back on the normal program? What's going to happen? And it doesn't matter, because I truly believe there's no better time than the present than right now, to do a little back step, a little bit of backpedaling to really understand what you want to be doing in the long run. Because just because I'm supposedly getting ready for this next big program does not mean I need to hit new numbers. It doesn't mean I need to hit anything on the program at all. If I need to do recovery bench days for the next month, I'll do it. Because in the long run, I need that confidence back, and it hasn't been there. It's gotten close on certain days, but I have to feel really good. And a wider bench press just does not work well with Olympic lifting. It's always been better for me to stay shoulder dominant. And after doing it today, I was a little concerned in the first place, because I was already low energy. I'm sitting here gagging on my fucking mucus from getting over my cold. And so just the energy wasn't there. But it's exactly because of that reason that I know that today wasn't an accurate representation of what I'm capable of right now, especially when it comes to that more narrow grip. I know it doesn't look like I changed much. It's literally about an inch worth of a change, but it's enough of a change to keep the elbows close to the body on the way down and keep everything as compressed as I can for the hardest explosion out of the hole that I can muster, And I've grown to prefer training this way because of how much my shoulders have already carried me through the lifts that I do every day. And so if I'm already doing shoulder dominant stuff and then I switch to things that are making it really hard to stabilize my shoulder because it's trying to even out the strength in my shoulder and my chest, it just doesn't feel great. And now that I'm sitting here after the fact, in the moment, I wasn't sure if it felt the best, especially because I wasn't mentally that into it. But sitting here now, I can tell that keeping it more compressed is growing my shoulder strength back. And I think the biggest issues that I had in the past, which is what caused me to think that I needed to change back to thumbs length bench, was I was going so heavy so often that my strength could not keep up with it. And rather than blaming my own individual lack of learning in that moment, I decided to blame my technique. And I've done that several times. I've done that with my grip on snatch, clean and jerk, everything. It happened. Sometimes you have to make an inefficient change to realize later on that you were already as efficient as you could be. That comfortable setup you originally had was what you wanted in the long run, but you had to lose it to understand how much you'd miss it when you started really needing it, And let me tell you, the moment I started doing it again, the confidence I had blowing it off my chest was so much easier than what I've been doing, And the rear delt injury in my rotator cuff happened because of going wider on the bench. I didn't have that injury doing narrow grip. That was the day I switched to thumbs length. It was too much for my shoulder to fully stabilize, because I did go too heavy at the gates. And sure, it's something that I could work up to trying to do in the future if I did it long enough, but it's not what I want to be doing. It's not what makes me passionate about the bench press. And because of the lack of consistency, it's making my bench feel less of a passion lift and more of an accessory lift than I want it to be. And I want it to be a fun day. Every time I want to bench, I want it to be a really fun day, especially because it's my only break in the week that I have off of legs. I'm always hitting legs or full body something. And bench is that one day where I can kind of just relax because it takes the least amount of brain power, All in all, today was not great. Today did not push me. Today did not incite some crazy new hype around what I'm doing, but that sometimes is what is necessary, The days that humble you the most to bring you back and get you on your feet when you realize what exactly it is you've been missing this whole time, And the last set did not look pretty. I got to 295, attempting a set of 5 when I knew I wasn't ready for it, but my spotter was really good. He was right there when I needed him to be, so I wasn't worried about having supported reps or anything. And I actually wanted the reps to be supported so that I could focus more on just driving my technique through so that I wouldn't injure myself again. But again, I look back on all of the times I injured myself on bench press in the past 6 months or so, And all the chest pulls, all the shoulder injuries or the pain and wherever occurred because of going heavy all of the time. And that's exactly why I want to get back on progressive overload. So it keeps me where I should be, you know? Not where I want to be, where I deserve to be, more so, you know? So anyway, it's going to get better. And because today was so low energy, I know that I can't base what my progress is off of today, you know? Because no matter how much I compare today's lift to my peaked bench days from 4 months ago when I was hitting 295 for a 3x6, even though today I couldn't even hit it for 5, it's just that much more reason not to compare, because I had much different prepping for that lift. I had much different training schemes, experience. I haven't really done much with the bench at all in the past couple months, you know, when it comes to really pushing it to the limit. It's just been kind of feeling it out one day at a time and hoping it gets better. And it truthfully hasn't. Bench is really, really slacked, and that's my fault. So rather than sulking and rather than letting it get to me and letting me think that I need to go back to thumbs length again, because it's the fact that I thought I needed to change something that means something, you know? Even if it's not the most perfect change, it's a change that I thought would make it better. And that means something, you know? And you got to give it that chance to grow. You got to give it a couple sessions. So I am going to keep going the way I have been. I'm going to get back on the progressive overload and keep training the way I've been training. If bench can't go as heavy as I have written in the program when I get to it next week, I won't do it. I think I will be ready, because it's hard to explain, but you do this so long that you get to a point where you can feel your body wanting to get back into something that you know it needs, but it needs just those few more sessions to acclimate to it, you know, to really adapt. So I'm going to just rest. You know, the worst thing I could do right now is overthink it and compare myself to my past self. Right now, I have a rest day tomorrow, and I need to take it. And again, I got to remind myself, this is my third 12-hour night shift in a row tonight, and I have not been sleeping well. I have been tired as shit, and I have gone so hard in the gym this week. I've made insane progress, and before this week, I took 2 weeks off. It makes sense that I'm tired. It makes sense that I'm not at my best. So instead of thinking about everything I could have been doing differently, I'm going to think about what I can look forward to next week when I get back onto it and how hard I can really push it, because that's what I care about right now. One way or another, we're going to get better. Physically, yeah, you know, physically it's a 6.8. Pretty low. It was not anywhere near what I wanted it to be. And I got to be realistic with myself. It's good that I recognize how low of a day today was, because it's going to make me work so hard to get back to where I want to be in the future. You know, I was mentioning it to a buddy of mine, but before I went to thumbs length on bench, I have never injured my shoulder in the past almost 8 years of lifting. And I've been Olympic lifting for 4 of those with bench press. I don't know a single person who does Olympic lifting and bench press and hasn't injured their shoulder before, or their rotator cuff. And I think it really goes to show that narrow grip was really saving my ass for a while. So I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to really try my best to get back into it and see if it feels good. And I wasn't comparing myself to my past self at the end of it, but I was looking at my last peaked 295 3x6 and seeing how stable, confident, and explosive the reps were made me realize how much I took that skill for granted in the moment, you know? Changing it when it didn't need to be changed. All that needed to be changed was take a break and then go a little light for a little bit until I get back to where I wanted to be physically, you know? Get that actual good recovery. So now that I know where I want to be, it's just being patient and sleeping on it. That's going to make it better, you know? Mentally, you know, I'm still going to give it like a 7.35. It wasn't a horrible day or anything. It was a lot more educational than it was passionate, you know? It was a day that I needed to be sat down by the weights and told, time to back up a little bit, you know? It's time to backpedal for a little bit and really see where you're comfortable at. And the best thing about my progressive overload program is that my first bench session in the first half of the week is going to be my recovery bench day. I only do one heavy bench day and one heavy squat day a week, so I don't overdo it. And so I'll be able to come in and I'll be doing like 255 for 3x5 when I get back in there. That'll be perfect, for just getting the form as perfect as I can, feeling out the technique, not overstraining my shoulders, letting my rear delt strength come back, because I do need to build that up a little bit now that I'm changing the grip again, because it's utilizing my shoulder in a different way than I've been using it the past month or so. And then at the end of next week, if everything feels good and everything goes the way I want it to, I'm going to attempt the 295 3x5. And that's still not where I've been peaked before, but it's the fact that if I can get near that next level again, I can grow. I can show that progress, and I can have a new goal to work toward. One way or another, we're going to be fine. We're going to get back into it. I'm not even worried about it. Just stick around and let me know how your lifting lives have been going in the meantime. I will be back tomorrow. No, day after tomorrow. Sorry. And I love you guys. See you later. Bye.